All right, now from electrifying kickoffs to heart-stopping games, excitement of volleyball showdowns and fan-fueled action just never stops. Now, here with us to talk about the intense VNL 2023 is volleyball analyst Noreen Gold. Noreen, Happy New Year. Welcome to the game.
Yes, good to see you here. It's 2024 now, Noreen.
Yeah. Can I just say, this is the tallest I've ever seen Sam due to the chair situation. Pero
I think it's the New Year effect. You know, when you jump in New Year's, apparently it still works. So, guys, don't give up.
Okay, back to the VNL. Noreen, VNL coming back to the Philippines, the first time it was here, it brought in record crowds. The VNL organization loved the Philippine Interaction Philippine crowd. And in their return with the men's competition this year in the Mall of Asia Arena, it felt like, again, a match made in heaven. Philippine fans and international men's volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, we were so lucky because we have to face it, no? Not everyone's tech savvy. Not everybody follows global or international volleyball. So when VNL was brought to the Philippines, it's like it opened everyone's eyes about, oh, there's international, which we know has been there for so many decades. But for a lot of the new fans especially, it's like, oh, okay, we can watch like USA and so on and so forth. So I think it's a good experience for both coaches, players, aspiring players and coaches, and the fans.
That's right. You know, you were talking about the players, Noreen, and I just wanted to share, you know, covering the PVL during that time, a lot of the players were drawing inspiration from the VNL. So I wanted to share something from Jack Janela of the Signal HG Spikers. It was the battle for the bronze then, and we know that their schedule was packed, as in back-to-back games, and she told me that was like her fuel, like seeing all of, you know, that international level of volleyball in the VNL, and they're just, you know, playing at the top of their game. So she was inspired to do the same as well.
Alam mo, just hearing that, it just reminds us that yung mga players natin dito, fans din sila eh. How did you feel it affected the game here? Because especially for the men's, you know, we've seen a lot of Spikers turf and we've seen a lot of men's volleyball action. You kind of feel na, okay, parang na-inspire ata sila sa nakita nila sa VNL.
And yeah, I think also they want to learn. One particular move that we've seen throughout the Spikers turf is one, it's not particularly a Japan move. We've seen it from a lot of countries. It's the second ball. They're going to go up to hit it and then last minute set it. So it could be a decoy for the third hitter. So we've seen that a lot in Spikers turf. That in itself, we saw it first in VNL before we saw it in our local scene. So a lot of things they can learn, put into practice, and that will obviously elevate our volleyball in this country.
You know, I just want to also share, since nag-share na rin si Sam about her experience talking to the talking to the players at PVL as a courtside reporter. Ako naman, I actually had a chance to anchor some of the games of VNL, and covering the Spikers turf right after, you can kind of see, tama ka nga eh, you can kind of see where they're trying to imitate or emulate, trying to learn from them. And again, the quality of the volleyball talaga, the broadcast and everything. It wasn't just the volleyball on show, it was a party all throughout, especially if you were a fan.
I'm sure. You know, I mean, I totally agree. Everybody like savored the experience from the first time we covered to the second time, and then luckily this year we're going to cover it again. So it was such a learning experience for a lot of people, even the organizers, on how to put up a tournament. You know, from witnessing, putting up or running an international tournament, if you learn from that, the locals will be a cinch. It'll be easy already.
I mean, I just love how everybody was involved with the staging of the VNL here in the Philippines. One of the players actually, si RJ Doramal, Roma Joy, she made her debut with the galleries, right? And she told me that ito talaga yung nag-inspire sa kanya to leave beach volleyball and go back to indoor volleyball. I mean, how amazing is that, you know, because she was actually like assisting with the VNL. So from assisting on the sidelines, now she's back on stage, like, you know, shining with the gallery. So it's just so amazing how there's that impact. So I guess, Noreen, what can you say about, you know, our own team? Because they also had friendlies against the Netherlands and China, right? So what do you think that, you know, how did that impact our Philippine team?
Well, the fact that you get to play against international teams in itself already is an honor, number one. Number two, obviously, the experience that you gain or you garner from playing against international teams. I think that in itself will really impact the players here because it will inspire the aspiring players to, you know, to go for that that position that, hey, I want to play against international teams, so they just want to get better. I think it's really the evolution of the sport globally that's translating to our local volleyball scene.
The Philippine fans were also lucky because yung VNL, not just to let everyone know, not the entire VNL came to the Philippines. Select nations came here. And the nations that did come here were all the heavy hitters. And Noreen, were there any teams in particular you were excited to see the most? Okay, Japan is a given. But then anyone else, you take a look at the rest of the roster, who were you interested in seeing the most?
I was very excited to see Italy again.
Yeah.
But I was really personally more excited to see Poland because I was reading about it. Poland currently is number 1 in the world.
Yeah.
But that has been dominated by Team Brazil. Talking about the men's,
Yeah.
Team Brazil for what, 20 years. So again, the evolution of the sport, we have to keep mentioning that because you see a lot of countries get foreign coaches. Like Japan got a French coach, Poland got a Serbian coach. So you see that, there's transferring of information.
Yeah.
That's how people get better. So Poland, they showed us, and we were able to experience by watching, a number 1 caliber team in the world. So I
Yeah.
mean, what experience? That's really some experience for all of us.
Now, speaking of the best, how can we not talk about Yuki Ishikawa? I mean, whether you're a volleyball fan or an athlete, I mean, what is it about his game, Noreen, that just draws people into him?
Let's start with last year. I think they were at 8 or 9 in the ranking, but they just had a great year. They ended up number 3. They won the bronze in the VNL, I think in Poland as well. And he was the best hitter or best attacker. So what is it about his game? He is that good. Aside from the fact he's Japanese, that obviously the Filipinos love the Japanese players.
Yeah.
He's showing that I am a Japanese, you love me, yes, but I'm going to back it up
With the skill.
With skill, with talent. I'm going to be the best attacker, I think attacker or scorer in the VNL in the world.
Yeah.
So that in itself is really, I mean for the fans, like, okay, that's why we love him.
That's the one.
That's
He's
the
the
one.
one.
He's the one.
Yeah, best attacker, best scorer, scored 70 in the entire tournament, and then obviously was given that individual honor. But let's take a look at the results. So Poland and USA was in the finals. Poland won in 4 sets. Italy was not able to defend their crown. Japan was 3rd place. Italy was 4th. You take a look at all of that. Surprising, or is it just going to be one of those things wherein it feels like almost every year we might have a different winner?
I think that the latter part is, because people are trying to get better, you cannot just, be relaxed in one position and one ranking. Everyone wants to get to that top 1, top 2, top 3. Poland became 1. Japan, from out of nowhere, became 3. US has been kind of steady at 2. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a constant chase to being the best.
Okay, so the VNL 2023, we're going to wrap that up already. We're not going to go rewind anymore. In fact, we're going to go forward instead. You'll take a look at what's happening this year, and VNL will be coming back, this time with the women's coming around.
Ooh, exciting.
Now, if the men's inspired our men's team, could you only imagine how this group, this next set of international stars coming here to the Philippines could inspire some of our PVL stars?
That's what we're hoping, obviously. We've seen it because there is a benchmark. We saw it in the men's game. So we're hoping it will translate to the women's game because the fans, we're all happy already at where women's volleyball is, but imagine just getting better and better, and with this influx of foreign talents that inspires people all around. I mean, if it just gets better, then it's good for actually Philippine volleyball.
Absolutely.
I mean, as you mentioned, Noreen, right? We're always learning from their games, and that's why every experience that we get, we go all out. Noreen, thank you so much for coming over, for doing a quick recap of the VNL.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
How much do we love Pinoy sports? With all our heart, all the time. Download Pilipinas Live now.